if I don't pick this call, will they die? please calm down. Go slow. I'm just like, you guys are misunderstanding. This is not how you think it is.
They better get used to you.
They better get used to me in a group, in a boardroom, or just somewhere in a WhatsApp group. It's something else. You're like, is this the same person I talk to and it makes sense? Sometimes I just feel like, you know what, I want to throw this phone.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Chelsea and today I have a very interesting guest. I am so excited. Without further ado, I'll let our guest introduce herself, starting with her name, her course, her year of study, and tell us about her leadership position.
Hi guys, my name is Melvin Thogo. I'm a fourth year law student at the Faculty of Law. I am President, University of Nairobi Student Association.
Did you hear that right? The President of University of Nairobi. Okay, so tell us, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an introvert.
You're an introvert. How is it navigating leadership as an introvert?
It's been hard because this university has so many students, first of all. It's also hard because every day you have to show up somewhere. There's always something. There's always an event. There's always a meeting. And sometimes you don't get the time to go back to yourself. And initially I was just like, oh my God, what is this? But I've tried. I've tried to get support. I know from the students, it's usually not very easy because everybody wants to talk to you. You're always getting calls. The moment, I think from 8 a.m., I'm always getting calls. I don't have time to myself. Sometimes I just feel like, you know what, I want to throw this phone. But here we are. We've gone for a whole year. I haven't resigned. I've tried to show up at 99%. And I have tried to maintain a relationship with most people. And I've learned a lot. It was not my first time being in leadership, but this was quite of a new landscape for me.
Okay, so you put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yes, I did.
We like that. So what inspired you to be president of UON?
Do you believe in manifestations?
Yeah.
Because I think I believe in manifesting as well. Sometimes, actually most of the things that have come to pass in my life, I've manifested them subconsciously.
Wow.
In my first year, I've always been an active student. That's one thing about me. I'm an introvert, but then I'm active, very active. I think because I like to make people around me comfortable, and I also like, I don't want my environment to be boring. So I've always been an active student. When I joined in first year, I actively joined clubs. I got myself participating in most conversations from law, student leadership, and everything. And I got to know a lot of people in my class, and they got to consult me on matters leadership, governance. Come to first year, second semester, it was election time. And most people in my class, when they were asked somebody who's confident enough to talk to other people, they would mention my name. So I got candidates from senior classes approaching me to introduce them to my classmates.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. That was in 2020, around from January. I think it was actually from December of 2019. So then I got to be, I got to be the kingpin in my class.
Ooh.
So before you come to my class, you have to talk to me, and then I introduced a number of candidates in my class, and then I ended up being a chief campaigner for one of the strong teams.
Wow. Unfortunately,
it did not happen.
Okay.
But during this campaign period, I once mentioned to, I got a competitor, like an opponent from my class. We weren't even eligible to vie, but I already had people telling me that we know you're going to vie. I told them yes, and they're like, you're going to be my opponent. They're like, fine. And then I mentioned to a friend of mine, you actually know him. I mentioned to him that I'm going to be the president. you know, I told him, me, I can even vie for president. He was like,
I'm not
you
scared.
know, calm down. It was just like, please calm down. Go slow. And I was like, fine, we'll see. We didn't have elections that time because of COVID. We went home, stayed home, and then did a semester. So after that, I think the school decided, well, the people in leadership are graduating and we need to keep moving. So then that was the first time they introduced to us the online elections, and I was eligible. I had just done my exams a month before that. And when it was introduced, I actually got people approaching me to vie in their teams. And no one approached me to be any other position. I was approached to be Secretary General.
Wow.
Yes. But my classmates were like, why are you going for SG? Why not go for chair? First of all, this is the junior most class. And my team is like, I formed a committee. It was called the Kitchen Cabinet. And they're like, why don't we just go for chair? And I was like, okay. We can try this. So of course, as it goes, after quite a number of considerations, I vied for Secretary General, Parklands, under a team, because now we vie in teams. That position had never been held by a female, and more so a female from a junior class.
Wow.
So it was big. Everyone was like, who is this person? Why you? Why not us in other senior classes? Yes, my classmates were all behind me. I got, I think, I would say 98% from my class support. We got into that position, worked our way. But before that, in first year, second semester, I got to be appointed or elected as president of ICJ. ICJ is International Court of Justice. It's a branch under KMUN. That is again, that position had never been held by a first year.
Wow.
It normally used to be for third years. But I challenged them and I told them, Sisi ndio tuko, we are the ones who are here. My class is like taking most of these activities, and third years are busy, they're not offering the leadership that we need. I got in. Before I was done with that, because even that was a year, there was a program, this program is called Millennium Fellowship. I joined, applied, got in, then I got to be director, University of Nairobi. That is, I'm still holding the ICJ position. Wow. And before I wind up on all these positions, now comes the UNSA SG, and immediately I get in. So it's safe to say I've also not lost in UON. I got in, and then now I fully, after now my term in Millennium Fellowship and ICJ ended, now I started focusing on UNSA. And then I had another bullet because I was elected in a junior class. So then I had another bullet to vie. And this time when it came to me vying, I was actually not very certain. But the thing is, I also get motivation from people because I lead other people, I serve other people. Yes. So if I serve you once and you tell me that you think I'm fit to go to the next level, it gives me the confidence to go. But if I had opposition of people telling me no, probably I would have had the confidence to go, but I would be like, how am I going to serve people who don't want me, people who haven't felt me? Some of my classmates came to me and told me, some of my schoolmates were like, we can't see anyone else, a strong person that we can support up there. Go ahead. And I was like, whoa. I'm up to the task. So I went, and here we are today. But I spoke it. Remember that I spoke it in first year. I told my friend. Yes, so I spoke it, and here we are, I think. And I think, looking back, everything has been molding me for this. Yes.
True. Yeah. What people might not know is that you are the second female president in UON's history. How has that experience been?
Well, first of all, I came. It had a lot of opposition. And I think, well, maybe all female leaders go through this. I think I want to assume that even my predecessor had to go through that. Yes. So she was the second president in UNSA, and then the first female. And I think I was just I think when I came to school, I got her term when it was ending, so I can't speak so much about it.
Okay.
But I feel like I had a bit of opposition, people saying that, electing female, blah, 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 a lot of things will go. And even after I got elected, I still felt, even the admin and everyone else was telling me that, we've seen female student leaders, and this has been happening. But I stuck out from the beginning. I told people, I know what I'm doing, my head is in the right place.
It is.
And I also allowed just the right amount of influence in my life and in my campaigns and in my term. So for me, the opposition that I got, now that I'm ending, they're telling me that we actually are very proud of how you've handled yourself.
Yes.
You see, when you're coming in, you're young, you're female, everybody thinks they can get into your head and into your life.
True.
But it was tough. Getting here was tough. And I've had to be tough all through. Because I've had to maintain, I've had to look at people in the eye and tell them, I don't want this, or I want this, and this is how we're going to work. There was also the issue of, will you manage to serve and to be in charge of the men who are going to be elected?
Yes.
Because the association actually has more men and more male chairs, because I only have one female chair from School of Law. So that was also an issue, and some delegates, the male ones, telling me, I don't think I want a woman up there, because your head will not be in this thing, your head will be somewhere else.
The stereotypes.
Yes. So and even after I joined, I realized that people were thinking, or rather they were trying to see it as, now my vice chair or the male leaders in my team are the ones who are supposed to take the lead. So still you're here, you prove that you can do it, but they're still like, no, we still need men to prove that they're men. But here we are. It's been quite a journey, a lot of lessons along the way, but I've had to tell them that I actually knew what I was coming in for, and I'm here to stay, and I'm the one that is here. So yeah,
they better get used to you.
They better get used to me, and they better get used to the fact that if anyone needs anything from the association, they'll always call me. And I think I've set a good ground for female leaders. No one will look at female leaders and say that we'll elect her and she'll run away. I'm stuck, and here we are. We're ending.
Still strong.
Yes.
Okay. So you've told us that since first year you have found yourself being propelled into leadership positions. Was this the case also in primary school or in high school as well?
Yes, I've been a prefect since primary school, class prefect. High school, I was also a class prefect. So it wasn't a new thing for me. And unfortunately or fortunately, all these positions required me to make very hard decisions and choices sometimes. And it's the same thing that I've encountered here. I think I was in a girls' school actually. All these positions, I held them in a girls' school. So here then now you come and then there is someone who thinks that you're not good enough because you're female. Back then we were all the same. So, yeah, but it's been, how would I say it? Like, it's been interesting to know how I would do all this, how I would behave when, or the character changes, or just remaining to be assertive. But yeah, it's been interesting, and I think, and even before I joined Faculty of Law, I worked for a certain period of time. So I got into the world of working with men, men who think you're not good enough, or men who just think, why you?
Why even trying?
Why? Yeah, but it's all prepared me for this, and I think we've been able to handle this. Remember, again, even when you're coming to deal with the management, you'll meet most men than women. So then again, you're like, okay, now I'm meeting men who are 30, 20 years older than me, and I don't know how to behave. Then you remember, well, students expect you to actually represent them and to speak their minds and to speak what they would want you to speak. So you don't have time to hesitate, you don't have time to be shy. Yeah, and I've loved it.
Okay.
I'm ready for even bigger.
You're ready? Oh, I like that.
Yeah, for another level, yes.
What are some of the privileges you have enjoyed as a student leader?
Well, unlike you,
Okay.
I do get an allowance from the school every month. It might be small compared to what I'm handling because because every day you have to appear somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a certain way that you have to brand yourself.
True.
Students are always calling you every other weekend or every other day for help. So I do get allowance. I also do get, I consider this a privilege because if there is a high level meeting in school happening, that maybe the chancellor, the vice chancellor, I get to attend. And those are networks and those are places that you get to sit and learn. Yeah, and generally, I mean, the treatment is different. Sorry, compared to being a regular student, I can say the treatment is different.
No.
Yeah. However, academically there is no privilege.
Yeah.
There's no academic leave. Hakuna max ya kiongozi. My group leader treats me the same way they treat other people. You have to hand in your assignment in time. Yeah, but they're there, but just the right amount.
Okay. So what's one thing you like about being the president?
I think I like the challenges that come with it. Oh my God.
Interesting.
It's challenging. Imagine dealing with 60,000 personalities.
Yeah.
Dealing with people of different age groups. You have the management side who are a bit older and more mature, or who are used to doing things a certain way.
True.
And then you have students who also want things done a certain way.
True.
So you're in the middle of two very diverse groups. You are two different extremes. And so every other day you always have to bring both sides together. Every other day you have to, because now I'm in the middle. I'm the one to make things happen for both sides. If I don't make it right with the students, it can't work. If I don't make it right with the admin, also it can't work.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed the challenges. I've grown. I think today, if I'm given a whole company or something to manage, I'll do it very well.
Oh, wow.
And then one thing no one will tell you is how hectic and interesting it is to work with people and manage, and sometimes even manage people, because you have different people. Sometimes you find that students reason very well as individuals, but once they're in a group, in a boardroom, or just somewhere in a WhatsApp group, it's something else. You're like, is this the same person I talk to, and it makes sense? Sometimes one thing I've had to learn is I am the one to offer direction. I'm the one leading, I'm not following. So then I have to, it's fine, I'll collect all the views, but is it the right thing for you? Yes. And yeah, and I think generally I've also learned that being in this position requires you to be a villain almost every day.
Wow. It's not an easy thing to do.
You're loved, respected, and hated in equal measure.
Oh, wow.
And it can get very lonely.
I can imagine. On the contrary, what's one thing you dislike about being the president?
I think some days I dislike the heat that I get. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't deserve this. Like, I'm just like, you guys are misunderstanding. This is not how you think it is. And also, being here is like, I never get to tell my side of the story.
Well,
so I get judged from a point of so and so perceived you like this.
Yeah.
It's always about perception. I don't get to tell my side of the story. I also don't have the time to do that. Yeah, but all in all, it's the price you pay for ambitions.
Yes.
And also, I think sometimes we are in character too much. You don't get to be normal. You just don't get to be.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also it's interesting because if they're molding you to to lead in bigger positions,
Yeah.
then you have to get used to that.
Yeah, it's a setup for something greater.
And let me tell you, I know you asked me for just one thing, but I think over time I've also hated how much I miss my family and my friends.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I'm just like, I can't, sometimes it's not possible for me to just make plans and tell my parents I'll be home on this date. It's on that date that you're called in the morning and told, we need you here.
Wow.
So yeah, and yeah, but I think again it's the price we pay.
It's the price you pay.
Yes.
Even during the holiday season, do you get to spend time with your family?
I do, but there's always something to be done.
Wow.
When you think, I mean, we had a 2 weeks recess after exams, and I thought I would even get a week to go to see my family. But then I've been so busy that I need another break for me to rest before I start my classes. So it's and some days you don't even have the energy to make calls. So you're always busy, because even when students are not there, there's always something being planned or being organized when the students are coming back. So yeah.
Okay. You mentioned that you have really grown as a person since joining university. Now, how have you grown as a person since becoming president?
I think I'm more of an adult now. I think I've grown in how I handle people. Not that I do it perfectly now, but I've been able to really control myself in terms of tempers, in terms of emotions. Sometimes I'm walking around, I'm like, do I still have my heart in place? I know it's pumping blood, but is it still there?
Wow,
because
wow.
I don't get to carry it.
Wow.
I just get to carry my head.
That's a strong statement. You always have to prioritize your brain over your heart.
Yes, because if one thing is, nobody thinks about all the other leaders they've elected. All eyes on me.
Oh.
So one wrong emotional mistake, it's done. I've had to grow emotionally. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes I'm worried about me being so numb emotionally. And also I'm also growing in terms of finding the balance, because I realize I have this, and my parents told me it's never going to be the same again. I'm never going, it's not like I'm never going back to being now not busy or to being free. I'm always going to be having these responsibilities. So then I need to have the balance. Sometimes I have to demarcate. If I don't pick this call, will they die? If I ignore this and I go to class, what will happen? And then you will always have to know what to prioritize at what time. So I've also done in terms of, do I like attention or not?
Wow.
And what attention is good or which one is not good?
That's a powerful question.
And against 10,000 people, sometimes I have to make a decision against them. And one thing that I know is right for me,
Wow.
and for them, against them.
Wow.
So it's exposed me to levels of maturity and growth that I didn't even expect.
Wow.
But I love them. And generally and also it's made me just know myself as a brand. There are things I don't do just because they will water down my brand.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to do them even after this.
You have an image to maintain.
I have a reputation, and also one thing that I also have to acknowledge is I'm a very independent person mentally, and I get to decide what's good for me, especially for me. Leave alone now the student body, especially for me, I get to decide what's good. I get to decide in the next few years, if this was brought before a camera and I have to watch it, will I be proud of it?
Wow.
So every day decisions that I don't make a decision and then forget about it. I make a decision and be ready to live with it every day.
Wow. Wow.
Whether bad or good. Sometimes I say, okay, let me just pick this lesson and go with it, but it's something that I have to live with, and so I make decisions that I can live with. Yes.
Okay. Speaking of being a brand and having to maintain character, is it restrictive? Do you feel like you had to suppress parts of yourself? And how are you balancing to ensure that you still remain true to yourself, even as you try to maintain your brand?
It's been so hard. It's recently that I was thinking, so what do I like apart from doing law and being a student leader?
What do you like?
What do I like when I'm the one, when now I'm the audience? And I was trying to even look at the things I used to do before I got into like politics, campus politics. Deep down, I'm a little girl. I like things that girls like. For example, I like to dress up. In my house, I would just dress up for no reason. I like to do makeup. I know I don't appear in makeup most of the time during my term, but those are some of the things that I like. I like to, just the things that little girls do or girls do. Yes, and but I'm still trying to figure out that, because I think also being in leadership has also just, I maintain one serious character.
Yeah.
I want to know, what do I like to do? I'm also a lot into fitness.
Oh wow.
But I'm trying to figure out exactly the things that I like, to be honest. To be honest, I'm just trying to figure out what are the things I like. Because remember, being an introvert, even back home before I joined campus and even during my holidays, I spent most of the time in the house, just being alone, doing my own things, reading. But now it gets boring sometimes. So I'm also trying to go outdoor to make friends. I have social anxiety. So in social spaces, I don't even know how to behave. Because I'm also used to being on this other side of being interviewed and being calm, being like this.
Corrected.
So yeah, but I'm trying to figure out the things that I like.
Okay.
Apart from dressing up and going, because I like to dress up and step out, but I don't want to meet. But again, the social spaces, especially the crowds, I'm just like,
yeah, I see. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
So
But I don't know. I mean,
it's a process. It's a journey. You wouldn't just wake up and know it today.
And I think it also changes because
True.
I think there are things that I did before that I wouldn't do now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I'm also growing. So in the spaces that I go into, I'll find things to do. Yes. But me and close friends, I'm a sucker for good conversations and food. Like, let's sit somewhere and eat and talk.
Just talk.
Yes.
Yeah. I relate.
Yeah.
Okay. This is something I have been asking students all over. Do you think a university degree is still important?
I do not know how to overemphasize this. It is very, very, extremely important. It is important, honestly. I think maybe other people will not agree, but for me, the people that I interact with and the people that I get to really admire are people who've gotten their degrees and even pursued higher levels of education. I think if you're really keen, today, I am the person I am today because of my education. I attribute a lot of my character development to Faculty of Law.
Wow.
Because sometimes I'm like, I don't see fellow lawyers doing this, or I cannot speak like this because I'm trained, or because I know how to speak better than this. I think just to give an example, as student leaders, we're expected to make presses and to speak and to comment about everything.
Yeah.
I want to do that because I know avenues of addressing issues. I know when to go to court. I know when to go to to the media. I know when to write in private. So I attribute a lot of this to the education I'm receiving, and I don't want to undermine it. And so I think for me it's important. Getting to see leaders, maybe in parliament or CEOs or just anyone anywhere, I feel like education and capacity building is very important. And sometimes, unfortunately, you might not even understand that capacity building if you don't get that education. I know now we have levels of education, we have TVETs, we have colleges and all. It's okay. If you're not able to get that degree, get whatever education you can get, but do not stop getting your degree because you feel like it's not important. It is important. And if you can't, don't stop at undergrad. Keep going.
Go higher. So you are telling us you are going to pursue up to the PhD level?
Yeah, for me, I'm going as high as I can.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, that's getting my postgrad is the next step for me. I have to go to Kenya School of Law, and then immediately I have to proceed.
No debate about it.
But even aside from that, if I hear there's a professional course somewhere, I'll do it. If I hear there's like anything that is capacity building, I will do it. And I think sometimes the reason we get disappointed in our leaders is because they don't get to develop themselves knowledge-wise. And it's important to keep doing that.
Wow.
You can't just, I can't,
wow.
I hate.
I felt that.
Yeah. I would hate to speak, and people feel like it's empty talk. So for me, I put a lot of emphasis on that, and that is why I'm also proud of this education, and I want to do even more.
Wow.
And by the way, you see, even entrepreneurs, let's say entrepreneurs who say maybe they didn't get to university level, do you think they employ people like them?
No.
They actually employ people with degrees.
Yeah.
They want a manager, and they're like, business administration, law, and things like that.
Yeah.
So even them, they still consider that important. If you can be an entrepreneur and get your education, you get it. Yeah.
It doesn't hurt.
And just because you do law doesn't mean you have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a practicing lawyer.
True.
You don't have to be a teacher just because you did education. There are so many other things that you can do, but you get it right. Yes.
So do you ever have free days?
Right now I'm trying. I'm trying to have free days. Now I decline calls over the weekends, just for peace of mind. Weekdays is not easy for me to have free days because I'm always doing something so that I can have a weekend free.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm trying to reserve my weekends just for myself.
Okay.
I'm also learning so that when I go into the workspace, I don't have to be overwhelmed. And also because in the past I've been overwhelmed, but now I'm just thinking, because, well, I've gotten most of these things. You can actually, if you could have addressed it on Monday or on a Friday, but you decide to address it on a Sunday.
Surely.
And we still have Monday, all of us. So you can still call me on Sunday. I also don't do I don't do work meetings on Sundays and Saturdays unless it's very urgent, or unless I couldn't get maybe time to do it over the week. But I try not to work during the weekends.
Oh, that's sad.
But that is for this year. I'm trying, like it's New Year resolution, so I'm trying it now.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. I hope it works out well.
I hope it will. I hope it will, so that I can also have time for my friends and family.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's important.
Yeah.
How does UON support you as a student leader?
During my term, especially now compared to when I was Secretary General Faculty of Law, I've gotten people who are very student-centered, and they listen and listen well, and they try to help. So for me, the management that I have now is very supportive in terms of if I raise the student issues, they will be addressed. I get to call deans, faculty deans on phones, and they try to help. And I think that is something that previously we didn't get, because even when I came, it was a lot of these people felt they still had the mentality of rogue student leaders. I'm calling someone and they're like, now she wants to disturb, or when I come into your office you don't want to see me because you feel like I'm going to bring chaos or I'm coming with goons. But with time we've been able to work together, and me showing them that I'm actually here. What we need is constructive solutions.
Wow.
I need students to get things done.
Yes.
And starting with the vice chancellor, anytime we bring, maybe it's the student leaders, maybe we need to do something, or maybe you're just bringing an idea of how to make some of these things more student-centered, they actually take them and implement them. Yeah, so I wouldn't say that I've encountered a problem where you feel like you're addressing issues and no one is helping you. I think they've been helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, and things are changing both from the student side and from the admin side. Now they're listening to students. Now in every meeting, you'll find students. The Senate, every meeting, you'll find students. Should there be something that we raise, they will write to us, they will respond. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me what you need, tell me.